Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Platinum with only one Pachirisu was a fun solo run with a Pokemon that I had never used before. Let's follow that up with a fun one that I haven't done in ages. Today's the day that we figure out would I be able to beat Pokemon Black with a team of only one Castform. Man, I love Castform. What a fun Pokemon. We're a normal type, but we have the ability Forecast, so we change to Fire, Ice, or Water type depending on the weather. Stats-wise, it's completely even across the board, 70 in every base stat. Now, mind you, that makes it look like it's equally good at everything, but once you take a look at the moveset, you'll see it's really more of a special attacker. As you can see from the level up moveset, only Headbutt and Tackle are physical, everything else is special. We get the weather moves that transform us, as well as some solid moves of each of the three types that we can transform into, plus the super powerful Weather Ball. It's only 50 power until you transform, then between the weather bonus, the same type attack bonus, and the Weather Ball itself doubling in power during any weather, you end up with an incredibly powerful move. It even becomes a rock-type move during a sandstorm even though we don't transform. It's really cool. We get our moves slower in Black and White than we do in Black 2 and White 2, but it's still the same move list. Then by TM, we have tons of choice. Shadow Ball and Thunderbolt are really obvious ones to take. I'd love Ice Beam too, but that's in post-game, so Ice Weather Ball is gonna have to cover that. I feel great about this moveset though, especially since TMs are reusable, so I can get all the weather moves and swap them out depending on the fight. Like always, I'm writing the script as I go through with the challenge, so all this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. Between our access to really good moves and reusable TMs, I think we're gonna have a really fun run. I'm confident that we can win, but this is gonna be all about customizing our moves to fit the fights. So let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use Castform. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So right off the bat, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Snivy with Castform so that we can do the whole run with it. I name him Mallow, like last time. Our nature is Rash for more special attack and less special defense. Now, because Castform has even stats, it's really easy to tell our IVs apart at the start. If we have a 12 in something, then we're in the lower half of the IVs, and if we have a 13 in something, then we're in the higher half. 14 is the higher half if we have a nature boosting it. It took maybe 8 to 10 restarts before I got a solid Castform. The health, special defense, and speed are all in the lower half, but special attack, defense, and attack are in the upper half. Between upper half IVs for special attack and a good nature, I think I've got to roll with this one. So we're traveling, but I figure that the first gym is going to be pretty easy. At level 10, we learn Water Gun, Ice Powder, and Ember all at the same time. That gives us way better type coverage than in most runs, although the moves are pretty weak. I do think I'm going to breeze through the early game because of these moves, though. I mean, only the really early game, though. You know how Gen 5 runs are. That normal gym that we have to do early on is usually a brick wall until I grind. Who knows, though? Maybe it won't be so bad. We do have a special attack nature, and pretty much every great move that we get is a special attack, so we don't really have to worry about Intimidate in the long run. Anyway, now that I'm done saying that I might have a chance, I look forward to getting completely obliterated the moment I show up to that gym. First is Charon on the way into town, and I hit level 10, so it was really easy. Water Gun against a fire type, no brainer. Second is the gym where they always have a Pokemon that's strong against your starter, but thanks to a crit, we did a lot of damage to Pansear. I actually think we might have lost this if not for the crit, because Incinerate was doing crazy damage. And of course, the Charon fight on the way out of town was easy as well with Water Gun. If the first Charon fight is easy, then the second one is usually pretty easy too. I think he gained like a level or two. Now last before the normal gym is N, and he actually beats us the first time because we kept hitting ourselves in confusion. But this time we only hit ourselves once, so it was a pretty easy win. I feel like I'm about to walk into the meat grinder though. So I got to the gym at level 18, and I had this amazing start where I froze Herdier on the first turn with Powder Snow. I thought I might cruise my way to a knockout, but I was doing almost no damage and she thawed out fast, so we ended up easily fainting. I might have to level up a lot before we win this fight, because after we get Headbutt at level 20, we won't learn any better move by level up until we hit level 40. I figure we'll be able to brute force this fight long before then. Headbutt is going to be our strongest move even after Intimidate. Alright, you gotta see this one. So I grinded up to level 24 and tried the gym again. Headbutt is doing much better, and thanks to Takedown, we ended up getting a 2-shot on Herdier. We can't beat Watchog right after thanks to Retaliate, but we did pretty well, so I figured that I'd win if I get a flinch next time. So I try the fight again, and make Herdier flinch 3 times in a row. Then we crit Watchog for a one-shot. That luck was absurd. I think I only needed 1 flinch to win. The universe gives me 3 flinches and a crit. That was nuts. I love that, like, in some runs, I can try fighting the Pokemon champion, I don't know, 30, 40 times, and like, oh, I finally got that 1 in 24 crit that I really needed. I try this fight, and it's like, 3 flinches and a crit, let's just speed through this. Alright, well, that went a little faster than I thought it would. I don't think the next part is going to be too bad either. We have Ember for the Bug Gym, although we're getting a little weak on those moves. Then we have our rival fights, N, and the Electric Gym. I figured the Electric Gym could be pretty hard, often it is. But again, Powder Snow on the Emolga might do pretty well. Really, I think we can spam Headbutt at this point to win a lot of these fights. I just hope that I'm right. We're normal type, so we get that bonus, it does decent damage, it can get flinches, and our attack IV is pretty good. So I got some Charcoal for more power on fire moves, and I tried the Bug Gym. It was all pretty smooth other than a Razor Leaf that crit us really hard near the end. We almost fainted to that, but we got the win on the first try. Next up is Bianca. We just headbutted our way through most of the fight pretty easily. We got enough attack that Headbutt with the same type attack bonus can carry us right now, but I don't want to do this forever and then headbutt my way into getting paralyzed from Emolga in the Electric Gym. Sharon after was pretty easy, although we took a good amount of damage thanks to the Sandstorm. I'm just worried that one of these days he's going to get us with a big fighting move and we're going to faint out of nowhere. I have to say, I was a little surprised that N was easy. Often this fight before the Electric Gym is really hard, but Headbutt is still overpowering his team. I think I can actually do more damage than Powder Snow in the upcoming Electric Gym, but I probably can't Headbutt because of static. Ouch. Yeah, this is what I thought might happen. At the Electric Gym, not only are they doing great damage to us, but the Volt Switches makes it really hard to make sure that Powder Snow only hits the Emolgas. We lucked out and froze one for an early knockout, but the other Emolga and Zebstrika just demolished us. Plus, the Zebstrika takes nearly no damage from Powder Snow, so we really need to headbutt on those turns. I'm gonna have to level up for a little bit on this one. Maybe I could win with Return if I got a little stronger. Oh well, that actually wasn't too bad. I just came back 4 levels higher and switched to using Return. We got paralyzed right away off static, but it didn't matter because we hit so incredibly hard that they fainted fast. And Sharon on the way out of town was just a sweep with Return. I love that we're a normal type by default. A strong normal move gets the job done. Okay, we're in the home stretch now. We only have 3 major fights between us, and this run getting a lot more interesting. We have the Ground Gym, Bianca, and N. N should be easy with fire moves, and Bianca just doesn't tend to be too hard, but I'm not totally sure about the Ground Gym. Water works on some of them, and fire works on Excadrill, but our special moves are pretty weak for this point in the game, and I'm not expecting a free win. I think I'll pick up the Expert Belt. It makes super effective moves a little more powerful, and we have weak super effective moves for this whole team, so this is probably the best item I could hold. Once we manage to win those fights though, we'll get access to the TMs for our weather moves so that we can start getting real use out of Weather Ball. Once we have that, I think most of the fights leading up to the Elite Four are going to be a breeze. So first at the Ground Gym is Krokorok, and Water Gun is almost a one-shot, but not quite, so we got hurt a bit and lost some speed. He used a bunch of Hyper Potions, but then he got us with Torment before he fainted, so we can't use the same move twice in a row. Palpitoad was just a one-shot with Return, but last is Excadrill, and I can only use Ember once before I have to switch. He honed his claws and hit Slash for a lot of damage as we used Return. We survived another Slash with red health, hit Ember, and finished him off. It was really close. Next is Bianca, and I think that our decent stats are starting to be less of an advantage. We're fighting more evolved Pokemon now, so even with Return, we're not getting one-shots. We won just by spamming Return, but we took enough hits to end the fight with just under a quarter of our health left. We should be hitting level 40 and learning Weather Ball in a moment. We're so close to finally becoming a powerhouse. And of course, N in Charge Stone Cave was easy as always. He did a little damage at the end, but that's about it. Guys, it's finally time that things get a lot more interesting. We're now able to get our hands on the TM for Hail, Sunny Day, and Rain Dance. That means I can really make proper use out of Weather Ball. It says only 50 power, but once you change the weather, it switches to 100 power, and then when you factor in the power increase that either rain or harsh sun gives you, and the same type attack bonus, that would mean that our water and fire type weather balls would have an effective base power of 225. It's less power during hail, since hail doesn't power up ice moves, but it's still really strong. You can also do a 100 power rock move in sandstorms, but you won't change into a rock type. So it's the weakest special weather ball move you can do. That said, I mean, it's still a 100 power special rock move, that's kinda rare. Obviously, I learned Hail right away because it's the best move for the flying gym. Then I think I'll switch to Rain Dance for the Charon fight right after. We can get Thunder and Thunderbolt after that, so we'll have some more type coverage soon as well. I think this run is gonna get a whole lot smoother until the Elite Four. Alright, first is the flying gym, and this went great. We took a little damage, but other than that, we just did amazing damage with our Ice Weather Ball and demolished our team. After that is Charon, and I set up Rain Dance right away, then one shot on Pheasant, as it wasted his first turn with a detect. Second is Simisage though, so it takes advantage of us using Rain Dance early, and hits Seed Bomb for huge damage before we two-shot it. Pig Knight was a one-shot, the rain stopped, and I used the opportunity to hit Return with the same type attack bonus for the knockout. Setting up against Unpheasant almost bit me there. I'll have to experiment a little bit with some of the harder fights to figure out when the best times to change the weather are. After that is the Ice Gym, but you know how this is gonna go. This one is easy most of the time, let alone this time where we could vaporize his team with a 225 power fire move. I have a charcoal I can hold, by the way. I can make that even higher than 225. Alright, all we have left before the Elite Four now are the final fights with Bianca and Charon, as well as the Dragon Gym. I figure Hail and Weather Ball will carry us through the Dragon Gym, and again, Bianca is just rarely a problem. That last Charon fight is one that we gotten stuck on for quite a few runs though. I figure my strategy is just to use Rain Dance and spam Weather Ball, but who knows. We might end up just fainting to his Grass type. I'm pretty confident though that we could win that fight at a reasonable level. I'm really hoping to get to the Elite Four below level 70 because we just have especially strong moves this run. Let's go make our way to the Bianca fight. On our way there, I took the Plume Fossil. I knew that if I didn't say what I took, you'd all ask. Actually, now that I think about it, everyone asks anyway. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. First is the last Bianca fight, but the area we're fighting in is raining non-stop. So we actually got to spam Weather Ball for amazing damage, and we never had to worry about restarting the weather. We still take a lot of damage, but we get the win. The Dragon Gym right after was just a sweep with our Ice-type Weather Ball, obviously. Last is the Charon fight, and although our weather moves did amazing damage, a random Seed Bomb while we were Ice-type did unreal damage to us. That did so much more than I was expecting, and it has me thinking that we might not be ready for the Elite Four yet. Now that we're the Elite Four, let's take a look at our stats. Well, our attack is way higher than I thought it would be. I guess our attack IVs and EVs must be pretty awesome. I wish our special attack was higher, but it's still pretty good. Our special defense is awful, but we're only level 57, so I kind of expected that. We don't really have a type advantage against a lot of the Elite Four beyond having the TM for Shadow Ball for Caitlyn. And both N and Ghetsis don't use type-specific teams, so I'm gonna have to study them for a little bit to figure out what weather moves are even worth bringing. Hail so I can take out Zekrom seems obvious, but our moveset is so limited that I have to make sure that I have enough moves to win the whole fight. So it's probably going to require a little bit of moveset reworking between fights, just to see how it turns out. Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. First is Ghost Trainer Chantel. So at level 57 I couldn't one-shot Cophagrigus, and we would take loads of burn damage. But at level 60 we can just hardly get the one-shot if we hold Mystic Water and make it rain, then hit him with our turbocharged Water Weather Ball. This makes her bring out Jellicent, so I learned Thunder to take advantage of the rain. It does great damage, but her Energy Ball does a ton. We take it out and easily one-shot the Golurk right after, but we faint before we could one-shot Chandelure. We're so close to winning this. I think if I just had a little bit more health from a few levels, we could win this. So I try a bunch of times at level 65 and keep dying at the same point, but this time we both didn't get hit by Will-O-Wisp, and we got a crit against Jellicent for an early knockout. It ended up leading us to having way more health by the end of the fight, so we could easily make it rain again, tank a Fire Blast, and get the knockout. Second is Dark Trainer Grimsley. Now I had to try this fight a few times because we always get sand attacked right at the start, but it really wasn't that bad. On this run, we hardly took any damage at all, and we did amazing damage in return. Third is Psychic Trainer Caitlyn. Right away, we started lucky with a critical Shadow Ball one-shotting Reuniclus, then Sigalith came out. It survived with a Sliver and hit Psychic for huge damage. We actually came into the fight with a little bit less than full health because I forgot to stock up on healing items, but I have one Hyper Potion left for after this fight. Gothitelle just used Calm Mind, so we two-shot her, and last is Masharna. We hit Super Ball, is what I wrote. How'd I get that wrong? We hit Shadow Ball and nearly made us faint with Psychic, then we took it out. That was so close. Super Ball sounds like a Dragon Ball move, doesn't it? No, it sounds like one of those like weird Dragon Ball move names where they just translated it to be something completely different, you know, like Special Beam Cannon on Piccolo. I always thought that sounded so cheap and dumb. Cool move though. Fourth is Fighting Trainer Marshall. Now, I lost the first try pretty badly by using Sunny Day, forgetting that half his team has Stone Edge, and it hits like a freight train. On the second try, though, I just used Rain Dance and pretty easily took out his team. It helped that Stone Edge missed too, since a crit would have made us faint by the end. Now it's time to rework our moveset again, because we have N and Ghetsis to fight. Okay, a few tries in at N, so we can one-shot Zekrom with our Ice-type Weather Ball, but only if we're holding an Expert Belt for extra super effective damage, and we take a big hit first. Second looks like Klinklang, but I know it's just Zora Arc going for Flamethrower, so I made it rain, hardly got hurt, and one-shot it. Then, as the real Klinklang came out, we one-shot it before it could use Thunderbolt. Fourth is Caracosta, and we had to hit it once to soften it up, so it can't just survive with Sturdy. Then we hit it again with Weather Ball to finish it off, but we had almost no health as it fainted. As Vanillix came out, we obviously just fainted. I'm shocked we even got that far at this level. I'm gonna have to level up a few times so that I don't need the Expert Belt anymore for Zekrom, then I could try beating this by holding Mystic Water instead. So I keep leveling and trying the fight over and over. I tried keeping the Hail out longer, but that always makes him send Caracosta in early, and it gets even worse. So I had to keep trying with Rain Dance. Sometimes we get hit with a Focus Blast now instead of Fire Blast, so that's bad. But this time we had a normal run going into the Vanillix matchup. He hit Blizzard and we survived with a little bit of health left to take him out, and last is Archeops, who we are thankfully faster than and can easily one-shot. It took a lot of tries and testing to figure it out, but we got a narrow win. Alright, it's time for Ghetsis. Right away, he wastes his first turn with Protect, so we use Rain Dance and then hit Mystic Water Weather Ball for a one-shot. Second is Bufflant, who is also a one-shot. And third is Electros, who's of course a one-shot. He's trying to use his electric moves early. Next is Hydreigon, so I switch to Hail, take a decent amount of damage off Dragon Pulse, and then land a one-shot. After that is Bisharp, and I know he's going for Stone Edge, so I make it rain so that we aren't Ice-type anymore. He ended up missing anyway, so we just hit Weather Ball for the one-shot. Last is Seismitoad, but we can one-shot it too, getting us the win at level 76. Man, Castform is such a fun Pokemon. I'm absolutely using this in more runs. I bet this would be really fun in Pokemon X. I hope you guys like that run. The next Pokemon challenge should be up next week on Saturday, like usual, with Pokemon Platinum, with a team picked by a random number generator. I had a great time the last few times I did those, and it seems like you guys did too. So I'm gonna do one next week, and then do the next Patreon poll challenge thing the week after. As always, I'm looking at your suggestions in the comments in the challenge request section of my Discord channel and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. All right, outro time, so a little bit of updates with me. I've been wanting to stream again for a long time. I didn't get to stream last month, which is really disappointing, but I've been so busy. I think I streamed like once last month, if that. But I just streamed a few days ago, at the time I'm recording this voiceover at least, with my friends Bob and Dan and AJ. We've been meaning to stream Minecraft together again. We streamed it together like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, like 6 or 7 years ago on my channel. I think it was legit 6.5 years ago. And we had a really fun time with him. People would always ask us to do it again, even though, like, no one watched that, I think. But, like, apparently everybody who watched it was really, really into it. And my mom always asks me to do it again, because my mom thinks this is the best thing I've ever done on the channel, is me playing Minecraft with them. So we did, and it was really fun, and we'll probably do more soonish. I'm uploading the VOD of it over to my VOD's YouTube channel, which you can find just by going to, you know, the YouTube channel you're watching right now, and you go to the homepage, and it's got the links to the other stuff, you know. I think I got it in the description of some of these videos as well, I'm not sure. Anyway, so I got the link to it there, and I'm going to be having it up over there. By the time this airs, it's probably viewable over there. I just got to make like a thumbnail and a description and stuff like that. But man, it was a really fun time. Can't wait to do more. You might know some of these guys. Bob is Bob from Wolf Den on YouTube. AJ's from Redirect, on YouTube also. And then Dan is the Dan who used to be like the head editor of Game Theory. We're all buddies, and it's been a while since we got to get together and play some games and stuff, and we had a really fun time. It was great. Really fun stream and everything, and I can't wait to do more. Anyway, I already got a head start on that run for next week, the random number generator team thing again. First of all, I found a better website for randomly generating a team. I started by doing just go to Google and you type random number generator and you punch in give me a number between 1 and 500 or whatever, whatever the number for that Pokédex is. And then I had to keep rolling and removing the ones that you can't get in the game. And then I just ended up Googling and I found there's a team generator where you just tell it what game you're playing and it'll give you your team of Pokemon that are actually attainable in that game. That helped a lot. Anyway, I got so much to do today. Not only do I need to edit this whole thing to get it up for the YouTube members and the patrons and all the stuff like that, but I last night just got to the Pokemon League for that Pokemon Platinum run that I was just talking about. So I've got to fight the rival, the Elite Four, and then the Pokemon Champion, and I got to record that footage, and I got to write down what happened and finish off that script, and then also edit this entire video, which, surprisingly enough, the editing is actually very quick for these videos, just because I've done it a million times. I make little mistakes and flubs here and there, I'm sure you have noticed. Sometimes an extra take gets left in or something like that. However, generally it is not a very complicated edit. It's just, dude, when you listen to as much of your own voice as I do, sometimes it just becomes noise, and you don't realize that you have just repeated yourself twice in the footage, and then you don't remember to cut one out because it just becomes noise at a certain point. You're just listening for keywords to know when to cut and everything. I am so unbelievably used to my own voice. How many thousands of videos have I made? I know I have over 6,000 videos on this channel public. If you go on Social Blade, it'll give you the public number, but I also have hundreds that are unlisted that you can only watch in playlists, So those are all still videos I've made and all still videos I edited and listened to my own voice in. I don't know. It happens. It happens. I don't think anybody cares. I've never actually seen somebody see one of these editing mistakes and say, this channel sucks, I'm gonna stop watching. It's almost like it doesn't matter that much. It's just not that big of a deal. Anyway, $50 supporter shoutout tier. Thank you so much, Jacob Busby, Javid Kusro, Grayson Fitz, Tara Luis, Dark Soul, Young Smoky VP, Gabriel Thornton, Hernandez Punchstick, The -1, and Man Spider. For your continued support, I always very much appreciate it. I'm gonna go get on editing this, pretty much right away. I want to get this edited and then do the challenge. I think that's probably the better order to do it, just because that means that while I'm playing out the last little bit of the challenge, I can already have this video uploading in the background for you guys. Just means you get it a little bit earlier. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.